Hey guys, we're back with the house in Fata Morgana. Last night I finished door 2. I'm gonna start on door 3 today. I don't know how far I'll get. Like, it's only just now midnight, so if I stayed up all night I could finish it, but like I'm pretty tired. But before we start, I have an anecdote to tell. I usually save that for like the letter or Fire Emblem. What do I mean? You know, it happened to me. So I was gonna go to school in the morning. I have 4 classes. I was just gonna do 2 of them, you know, skip the last 2 because I was tired. I got no sleep last night after I finished playing the House of Fata Morgana. I was just like, okay, I'll go to bed. But then I just played games and I was like, okay, I'll go to bed. I'll get an hour's sleep. But that never happened. And so I'm in charge of watching the dog. He's like a small little dog. Like he's really tiny. So I let him outside. Like 15 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to let him in. I'm not supposed to let him out for too long. Then I go out looking for him. I'm like, huh, he's gone. So I spent all my first class just looking for him. It turns out he got sent to the pound. Luckily, he didn't get like kidnapped or run over or something. What's chapter select? Can we see? Okay. Oh. Okay, we can't see chapters. Find yourself sitting in a fire before a fireplace in a decrepit old mansion. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is Pauline. Okay. Not sure how many there are. I mean, there's 4 doors according to the Steam store page. Could be more, could be less. No, well, there's not gonna be less. But I assume there's 4. Like, I know the game isn't too long, so I don't know. But yeah, since then I've only gotten like 5-6 hours of sleep. Tried going back to sleep, but I couldn't. So I was like, okay, I'll play some House of Fata Morgana. So we're at the Pig Iron Mansion this time, in the 1800s. And we got this cool jam. That era was a rat race of innovation and development. This is awesome! The smoke was so thick that you could hardly see any more than a few feet ahead of you. I can compare it to a dense morning fog, but that might give the impression of beauty. There's little of that to be found in this haze. Oh yeah, I looked at the volume and I think I want to turn it down just a tad. Oh, that's good. But that might give the impression of beauty, and there's little of that to be found in this haze. Do you see the silhouettes of several men in the smoking room? The one in the middle, the one looking in your direction, Master, was the present master of the house. I'm reminded of Rose Gun days, which I've hardly played. I played like an hour of it, maybe 2. Kind of saving it for a future Let's Play? Well, playthrough? Is Let's Play still used? Like, is it all Let's Play if it's a visual novel? His name was Jacopo. I want to make sure I pronounced that right, so let me look it up. I moved my mic. That was probably pretty loud. Also, Jacopo? What? Jacopo pronunciation. There you go. There's a YouTube video, but like I don't want to play that over OBS. Oh, here. I mute. Okay, you can't hear this cool jam for a second. Go on. Tell me how to pronounce it. Jacopo? Jacopo. It's not pronounced Jacopo, it's Jacopo. Wrong, it's Jacopo. Okay. If I look like an idiot, it's not my fault. Look, that commenter said it's Jacopo. His name was Jacopo. And though he dressed in such fine attire, I sincerely doubt he understood how splendid the furnishings left in the mansion truly were. So, there's one of my theories I had. Well, I wouldn't really call it a theory, just like it's not about, oh, what's in the house, but so chapter 2, the second door, was kind of reminiscent of Beauty and the Beast. Chapter 1, like, I was like, okay, what's chapter 1 reminiscent of? And the closest thing is like some Shakespeare work. So if we continue the theory that all the doors are based based off a different kind of literature. The first one being like Shakespearean plays, the second one being fairy tales. Because I did look it up. Beauty and the Beast was an 1800s fairy tale. Then this time, wait, hold on a second. I need to look up, when was Shakespeare alive? My theory doesn't really work too well. I was like, okay, every period is based off something that happened. Wait, no, I'm stupid. But this one, immediately, it's kind of like a kind of Norrish, I guess. Kind of get that theme from it. I'm not. I mean, we're like 5 lines in, but I'm just wondering if this holds up, or is that's only like if chapter 2 wasn't that reminiscent of Beauty and the Beast, I wouldn't think that. But I mean, there's enough similarities there that I think the average reader would assume, oh hey, that's like Beauty and the Beast. With chapter 1, like, it mentioned Shakespeare at one point, but and it did actually remind me a lot of something you've seen in Shakespeare's works. But I think we'll find out in this chapter if that's intended or not. Anyway, his name was Jacopo. Jacopo, yeah. And though he dressed in such fine attire, it's a silly doubt he understood how splendid the furnishings left in the mansion truly were. I am a faithful servant of this house, and I will not, for the life of me, dare speak ill of my master. However, this is a time long past. Imagine God would be so kind as to turn a blind eye to a little bit of honesty. I was not terribly fond of my master back then. He had wavy hair the color of overdried tea leaves, a piercing gaze, an arrogant smile, and wore a hat that made him look rather haughty. He put his trust only in money, renown, and rank. He lived only in the iron and steel that had revolutionized so many industries. He had not the slightest bit of love or care for other people. At the very least, that is what I believed at the time. Take a look around the room, master. Jacopo had remodeled it into a recreation area. It's a billiard table. Yeah, a billiard table set in the center of the room, and the downward-facing lights hanging from the ceiling were special made. The light shone upon the dark green stand like a stage. Cigars and bourbon-lined glass cases installed in place of the bookshelves. The cases were already fully stocked, the contents available to partake of readily. At that particular moment, as he had many times before, Jacopo had invited several friends and acquaintances. I feel like I'm butchering his name, but I mean, you know. And they're entertaining themselves. His wealthy, high-ranking acquaintances had a variety of hair colors, from polished brows to the brown of a baby robin to the color of sunburnt wheat. There's also much greater variation in skin tone compared to the visitors and residents of previous eras. But that was hardly any surprise, for the mansion sat upon land inhabited largely by immigrants, the New World. I'm a genius. I assume we're in North America now, given, you know, that's the New World. What's the matter? What are you looking at? Nothing. Just thought I heard someone say my name. Ain't no one there, unless you've seen a ghost. I don't believe in such nonsense. It's an old house with a long history. Wouldn't be surprised if it had a ghost or two. But if this place is gonna be haunted, I'll take a princess over a bloody broad any day. A princess, eh? When she showed up, you'd have your way with this ghost lady, am I right? Color me impressed, son. You jump her bones and she don't even got any to jump. Oh, because she's a ghost. What if she's a skeleton? Come on now, that's hardly fair. How much you can even do with a ghost? Why are we talking about doing lewd things with a ghost? My god, are you men or children? That's what I was thinking. This is my house, and I'd rather you didn't talk about it like that. Just the blatherings of a couple of drunks. Pretend you didn't hear nothing. For the love of God. In any event, whatever happened to that printer you invested in? I haven't heard their name come up in some time. Can we please avoid that topic? It's been quite the headache for me. That would pay off, but it always sounded sketchy to me. I recommend you pull out unless you want to find yourself with nothing less but a nice, fat pile of debt. Could have mentioned that beforehand. This is killing me. The men's deep voices resonated in the cloudy room. As they imbibed alcohol and puffed on their cigars, they conversed mostly about business and money. Jacopo and the rest of the men were a breed known as investors. You might also call them tacticians. Oh, I played Fire Emblem, I know what that is. They survived on information attained before anyone else, by making swift decisions, and having foresight. But instead of flesh and bone, their soldiers were made of ink and paper. To an outsider, this meeting might appear to be a congregation of friends, but in reality, they're observing one another, gathering information and anything else they could use to get ahead. At times, money and information were exchanged directly. When they are no longer of financial value to one another, their relationship would pop up like a bubble, dissipate into nothing. Well, you know, Jacopo, you can't be sure this railroad you're so passionate about is gonna bear fruit, neither. You don't even know if it'll get finished. And even if they do connect the tracks, will they really be in any shape for people to ride? It's a pipe dream, this transcontinental railroad of yours. Jacopo went silent, certain this is what was going through his head. You're a bunch of danged imbeciles if you can't see the entire country's put their weight behind this endeavor. This is why you have so much trouble making even a few thousand. At the time, a great railway was being built across the breadth of the continent. Construction was spearheaded by two large rail companies, competition for both prestige and a bigger share of this massive national enterprise. The Union Pacific Railroad Company started building from the east, and the Central Pacific Railroad Company from the west. But government bonds alone were not enough to finance this massive undertaking. On the way, there's been some less than pleasant reports about workers dying on the job for the company he chose, Central Pacific. Oh, you mean how they're using explosives to blast through the mountains? Making quite a bang they are. But if this gets to be much bigger of a fix, they're not going to be able to continue construction. Should at least put your money in the more sure bet of the two, the Union Pacific. It'll cost you to hire replacement workers. If they keep kicking the bucket, you're gonna have trouble finding more. My goodness. You know, I thought you all had spines. So the finale of this, like, white-haired girl's gonna be, like, tied to the railroads. Jacopo's gonna, like, go to save her. But, like, on the other road, there's, like, there's 5 people, and there's a moral dilemma. You think we're gonna run out of workers just because a few ate it? There's so many we don't even know what to do with them all. This guy's kinda not a good person, as the maid implied. There's not a chance that, well, we'll dry up. But we should also consider, remember Door 2. The maid only meant to show us the Beast story. Shouldn't mean to show us Pauline's story. Because we saw Pauline's story, it had a totally different effect. Well, not totally. Like, in the end, you know, the Beast is still, like, a serial killer, but he's even more of a bad person. Like, if we didn't see that scene with Pauline, we'd be like, okay, yeah, he is gonna kill these people, but, like, they did kill the white-haired girl. I mean, that's still totally not cool of them. I just want white-haired girl to get a happy ending. Let her be happy. Anyway, let's get back to it. I hear what I'm saying. Well, you're right. Maybe the maid wants us to not like Jacopo. I really hope I'm saying his name right. If by some chance it does, all we have to do is scoop up a ship full of blacks or yellows. Oh. That's, it's starting to get an awkward to read out loud territory. You won't get anywhere if you spend your time worrying about a few measly laborers. Like, I'm of the opinion that if you're reading it, like, if it's a literary work, there's probably nothing that's too far. Because, you know, it's literature. It's meant to... You know what literature is. But at the same time, reading it out loud can get awkward. I mean, I don't even curse when I read stuff out loud. Like, the letter, another visual novel I've been reading, almost tricked me into saying a racial slur, I guess, that I didn't know was a racial slur. So I gotta be careful here. Because I didn't even realize what I was saying until I read it. This is an endeavor backed by the entire nation. Their deaths are honorable, service to their country. The biggest loss is not of people's lives, but of time. The longer a project takes, the more money it costs, and the less profit we make. What we seek is rapid progress, even if the methods to obtain it are messy, or deadly. Another man in the room chuckled uncomfortably at Jacopo's distasteful choice of words. Do you agree with this way of thinking, Master? No? Perhaps he does have a point. That great sacrifice is necessary to accomplish great things. I mean, that is true, but I mean, like, I want to save everyone. I'm a hero of justice. And it is true that tragedy often lies in the shadows of the splendor of times long past. Furthermore, the way people see the world changes with the times, so I hesitate to criticize them too severely. Oh my, your ear started ringing. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I find that if I like take my headset off for a few seconds, my ears stop ringing. I don't know exactly how that works, but I mean, sound. Anyway, now as I'm sure you already picked up on, here's an investor who would put money into a yo-yo company. That's how I play Monopoly. I go for the yo-yos. They're the safest investment. He also possessed several crude oil refineries, riding on the world's second wave of industrial development. The mansion was too bustled with life in a way it never had before. Dozens of maids, including me, gardeners, chefs, sculptors, artists. Times we even had writers coming in and out of the house. It was really a moment of silence. However, I was not terribly fond of the hustle and bustle, personally. But please do not get me wrong, I'm hardly opposed to the mansion being cheerful. It was just, how should I put it? The splendor of the time seemed superficial, heartless. It's as though everyone was being rushed along by some unknown invisible force. Part of it was, I expect, because for the growing divide between those standing at the top and sitting at the bottom. Or perhaps, the mansion was simply taking after its master. There's no time to waste. Everything is resting upon the success of this project. Whatever it takes, I'll ensure it's happy. It happens. I'll ensure it's happiness! Who said that? I need more money and more power. Suddenly, a restrained knock on the door stopped his train of thought. From beyond the door came a woman's voice, gentle as a soft spring breeze. Pardon me, I've made some tea. May I offer anyone a cup? White-haired girl! Is this his wife? I assume it is because the summary of this chapter. When the door opened, in it stood a beautiful woman with pure white hair. It was indeed her. Are you surprised? Or did you anticipate her appearance? Though she was not the same age and dressed differently, the white-haired girl, whom you saw fall into the hands of misfortune in the era of roses and the era of the beast, was also present in this era of innovation. So like, unless she had a kid before coming there, she definitely didn't have a kid in the beast drought. Oh, drought. Beast chapter. Era of the beast, as she called it. Because, I mean, she kind of died. Unless, like, she wasn't dead, but, like, wasn't there, like, a sword through her stomach? That's usually fatal. Especially in those days. You know, modern medicine and all. I mean, even now, like, a sword through the stomach's probably not gonna be good. Furthermore, she was Jacopo's wife. Okay. Tea? I don't recall asking for that. When were you asking him, Jacopo, shut your mouth. Be nice to white-haired girl. I wasn't, but I had these leaves with the most wonderful aroma. I thought you might enjoy. Shut your trap and know your place. What do you think we have all these maids for? Okay, this guy's pure evil. Remember what I was saying about the maid influencing what we think? Yeah, I don't care anymore. hey, now, no need to treat your lady like that. She's just trying to be courteous. These are my personal affairs. Please keep your comments to yourself. His friends are unsure how to react, but ultimately, nobody stepped in to stop Jacopo. They merely shrugged, tossing glances at one another. Jacopo stomped over to the white-haired girl. He then grabbed her by the arm and dragged her from the den. What the heck do you think you're doing? Told you time and again to stay away from the room unless absolutely necessary. I'm sorry, but I made tea and... Shut up about the tea already. You think we're having tea parties and they're like a bunch of Percy nobles? I'm sorry. What, you're more of a coffee guy? If you really feel so bad, don't go in there in the first place. Get the heck back to your room. I meant no harm. It's just, I'm your wife. Thought it would be nice if I could do something. Like I've told you, that's not your job. Don't show yourself in front of the other men. I have nothing else to say to you. Got it? Now scram. Sakes alive. First them, now you. It's driving me up the wall. What is it? I told you to get out of here. Right, but what? When will you spend time with me next? It's been some time since we last went out together. We don't even have to go out. Just having dinner together would... How many times are you gonna make me repeat myself? You... Dude! This guy's pure evil! You worthless champ. Are those ears only for show? Go back to your goddamn room. So, I have a feeling this... So the beast route, you know, when it introduced to this beast guy, they're like, oh yeah, you know, like he's done some bad things, but, you know, I can sympathize with him. And then by the end of it, you're like, this guy's pretty evil. I'm not really liking him. I think it's going to be the opposite. Like right now, we think Jacopo's like, he's not that good of a guy. That's an understatement. And we're going to transition into thinking, oh yeah, I mean, like, he's a three-dimensional character. I can respect that. Anyway, my apologies. Looking utterly downtrodden, the white-haired girl made her departure. Such a piteous sight she was. As he watched her go, Jacopo merely snorted. Just thinking about the way he behaved that angers me. I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect. So as you can see, the white-haired girl was in hardly a joyous situation. She was devoted to Jacopo and tried to do whatever she could for him. But he not only brushed her aside, he did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. You know, I mean, where was it? I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect. I mean, that's normal? Like, I mean, I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect too, but I feel like there's something more to that line. I imagine there's that one in 1099 store page. Isn't that the one with Giselle and Michael that we saw? Yeah. About a girl with white hair, Giselle, who'd been branded a witch and marked for death. Maybe it's that one, or there's another door, maybe? I don't know. It's just, every time the maid talks about, mentions her perspective, I think it's worth picking up on. Anyway, she's devoted to Jacopo and tried to do whatever she could for him. But he not only brushed her aside, he did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. They're far from picturesque partners. Do you wonder then, Master, why she married him? The answer to that question will come to light in time. For now, let us follow her. The winter of our discontent. Looking down dejectedly at the undrunken tea, the white-haired girl walked alone down the corridor. Though its calming scent filled the air, there's nobody around to have their heart warmed by it. Nor is there anyone to alleviate her loneliness. Despite being the master's wife, the maids who crossed her path in the hall said nary a word to her. As a matter of fact, why does everyone hate the white-haired girl? Oh dear, I beg your pardon, madam. It's fine. One even bumped into her, stifling a laugh as she trotted off. Your son's cool. In all likelihood, she had done it intentionally. The poor white-haired girl had fallen to the floor, stared helplessly at the broken cups. Oh no! What language are the songs in the house in Fata Morgana? Language of the songs team community. It's almost all in Portuguese. Okay, Portuguese. Okay, with a little bit of French and Latin in a couple of songs. Huh? Portuguese. Where do they speak that, like Portugal? And Brazil. I imagine a couple other South American countries too, but I know my languages. I don't know a single word in Portuguese. The tea she had made for her husband was forming a stain on the carpet. The maid's behavior towards the mistress of the house was absolutely unacceptable. Nonetheless, it was a commonplace, all because of the way Jacopo treated her. The more the man in the house acted cruel to her, the less weight her position as his wife held to the servants. Day in and day out, the maids worked busily, offering little opportunity for leisure, so they would naturally have accumulated quite a bit of stress. She became the target for them to let off the steam. Not directly. Well, that wasn't really a voice crack. That's like, I don't know. It was close to it. But through a more subdued kind of harassment from the shadows. She must have felt quite miserable. Imagine she would have been better off as one of the maids. On the surface, and in front of others, they showed respect for her as Jacopo's bride. Behind the closed doors, they acted very much the opposite. The disparity between the treatment she received around others, the treatment she was supposed to receive at all times, and the way she actually was treated made the abuse that much worse. Furthermore, as you've seen through the other doors, Master, she's a very reserved young woman. She can neither raise her voice in reprimand, or raise her hand in retaliation. I have to get this cleaned up. She extended her spindly fingers towards the shards of shredded porcelain. Ah. But even the broken cup seemed to have no concern to spare for her. A shattered edge cut her fingertip when she made to pick it up. A trickle of warm red blood ran across her unearthly white skin. As painful as it was, it had a sort of taboo beauty to it. The blood spilling from her finger showed no signs of slowing down. She clenched her hand into a fist, let out a sigh, and went back to collecting the shards of porcelain. But when she did, a maid, Maria. Ooh. Madam, madam! What's the matter? Ah, madam, you're bleeding. While all the other maids ignored her, one came running over, shouting, to the white-haired girl's side. We need to get that cleaned up and bandaged up. Oh, and you don't need to pick that up. That's not your job, madam. It's alright, Maria. There's not much to pick up. It is not at all alright. The rest of you, why are you just standing there? Your boss's wife is on her hands and knees, and you're not even lifting a finger to help her? So I found the best character in this round, except for white-haired girl, obviously. You disgust me. Maria, it's fine, really. Oh, madam. If you weren't so timid, this wouldn't happen. You're allowed to yell at them, you know. It's alright, really. It's my fault. Anyway, should get that finger taken care of. Let's get back to your room, okay? Ah, but the broken cups and the spill. As I said, that's the maid's work. Now come on, let's go. Okay. The rest of you, get this mess cleaned up. She roared like the wind in a thunderstorm. The other maid stood there dumbfounded, watching as she and the white-haired girl disappeared down the hall. But they were soon frowning and grumbling to one another. She thinks she can act all high and mighty just because the master's fond of her. The woman's name was Maria. She was one of the maids. She was the one person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of as an ally. Though her husband paid her no mind and the maids made her life miserable, just one person, Maria, treated her with respect and kindness. And I'm sure you can readily imagine just how much of a lifesaver that was for her. I too found myself somewhat relieved that Maria was there for her. Being a servant in this house, I was also one of the maids working there at the time. However, I was unable to involve myself to get any great degree in her fate. This meant that there was little I could do to assist her, even in times of pain and unpleasantness. The best I could do was pray that Maria would continue to lend the white-haired girl her hand. So I'm curious as to why the maid can't do anything. Like, I've theorized a bit about this in past videos. But, like, you know, the maid's probably not a human. Like, gotta be honest there. Probably not. No. But, is she like... I don't know the right word. Like, is she symbolism for something? Like, does she represent a concept? That's the closest thing I can think of. Like, is she the mansion? That's... I think I mentioned that before. That's, like, my main theory, really. Like, what characters have interacted with the maid? The Beast? Well, but if we went back and looked at those scenes, did he interact with the maid? Because, like, well, yeah, probably. But what did the maid do to the Beast? She taught him how to wear clothes and talk? Like, he already knew how to do that. Because, you know, he's Yukimasa. So, I mean... not sure. In Dora 1, it's been too long for me to remember specifically what scenes the maid was in. I remember the scene where, like, the rose scene. She talked to the white-haired girl. I don't know if she talked to anyone else. Well, I think Mel saw the maid. Never mind then. And that does it. Thank you, Maria. You're always such a big help. Oh no, you don't need to thank me. I just did what any good maid should do. No one else is in the room, you know. Oh, right. I can drop the act? Man, I just can't get used to talking all stuffy. Ah, the classic pretend I actually have a southern accent, or what's the Japanese Kansai accent in anime? Because, you know, Japan doesn't live, like, you get what I mean. I'm out there doing my best, but the head maid still spouting stuff. Oops. Like, your manner of speaking is improper for a servant. Every single time we meet. Yeesh, come on, just shove it, would ya? You're a dang creep. No, you mustn't speak of her like that. Sorry, slip of the tongue. She just kinda gives me the willies, you know? Speaking of, you drop the stuff you talk to, madam. Kinda awkward if only one of us is acting casual, you know? This is normal for me. If I attempted to talk like you, I'd freeze up out of nervousness. This is my casual. Fair enough. Guess that's what happens when you're raised well. I like it though. There's a very regal feel about it. I don't think my upbringing is the only factor. And she's totally using like Boku or Ore, when she says I in the Japanese version. I guarantee you. I would put money on it. I don't think my upbringing is the only factor. Oh yeah, the whole, you know, Jacopo's kind of not a nice guy thing. But you know, upbringing is important. Worth a whole lot more than money, I'd say. I suppose. Thank you, Maria. You're always so compassionate. You betcha. They don't call me the Virgin Mary for nothing. Practically bleed compassion. Oh, you know, that might be true. Very well could be the reincarnation of the Mother of God. Actually, if you read the Bible, you know she's the mother of Jesus. Thank you very much. No, you're supposed to laugh at that. She's embarrassing if you take it seriously. Alone in the white-haired girl's room, Maria was acting much more friendly and relaxed as they conversed, as opposed to her no-nonsense attitude in the hallway. The two women were, as you could see, quite close. They crossed over the wall separating master from servant and built a bond of friendship. At some point, they began to speak frankly with one another, when no one else was around. Maria was the only person in the mansion around whom the white-haired girl felt comfortable being open. I imagine she very much enjoyed these moments of conversation. You wish to know who the head maid was? My. Oh, yeah. Are you sure you want to ask me that, master? Some questions are better left unasked. For your own good. No, I want to know who the head maid was. I have to say, madam, you have the prettiest fingers. Mine are all rough and dry and nasty. You think so? Mine haven't the slightest bit of muscle. They're about as frail as dead branches. Oh, who needs beefy mitts? Anyway, that sounds like a good username. I still think healthy looking hands like yours are far more attractive. What? What's to like about these things? Women all over the world dream of having hands like yours. Slender, feminine, and perfectly cared for. I don't know, just look at them lights. A fire in my loins. That's a line in the opening of Lolita, I think, right? Like, what's the saying? That opening line's like a pretty famous one. But I forget. Like, Lolita, the love of my life, the, something. I don't know. Makes me want to lick every last one of them. That's kind of weird. Actually say, can I lick them? Can I run my finger up and down all 10 of those sweet little digits? Come on, can I? What do you say? Stop that, Maria. Seriously. I'm kidding. Just kidding. No, she's totally serious. Oh, Maria. Alright, how about those tea... How do those tea leaves turn out, madam? The ones you imported. All the maids just adore it. I can't get enough of that aroma. Sure, I'd like to get a taste of it. Maria, did you not see what you dropped? Did you not? Okay. If you end up with extra, think you could spare a sip for me? Tee-hee! Hits head. Sticks out tongue. That was, what was in the cups I dropped? What? Really? Oh, ain't that a crying shame? And Jacopo wouldn't have any of it? God, why does that man have such a stick up his butt? Pardon my French. Went through all the trouble making it for him, and he was busy. It's not his fault. Busy? You mean playing billiards, drinking bourbon, and puffing a dang cigar? Men look at us like they're just making small talks, but I'm certain their meetings have some importance to their business. It was imprudent of me to try to step into the men's world. That's just not right. And that's kind of, you know. I mean, you're his wife. Why shouldn't you be allowed into the room? It doesn't bother me. Like, I mean, it was the time, that kind of time period. But I mean, like, still, he's not that good of, like, that doesn't justify it. Like, well, that depends. That's an interesting question. Should you judge people with the morals of their time or the morals of your time? Like, you can't, it's hard to judge people with the morals of their time because, you know, you've been raised in an environment that has different morals than them. For example, you know, a lot of presidents, founding fathers had slaves, and, you know, slavery is not cool. As we said in 1860, when did the Civil War end? 5? 4? Sometime around then. Like, no, slavery, not cool. Before then, slavery was cool. But, you know. So, is it okay to judge those people? Like, did Washington have slaves? I think so. I know John Adams had slaves. But I remember learning in middle school that compared to other slave owners, John Adams was like a pretty good one. Like, he treated them more or less humanely. Which, I mean, that's, you know, a step up. Anyway, it's just an interesting thought that I think is going to play into the future of this door, given it was brought up a little bit by the maid. I mean, I'm of the opinion that, like, you probably shouldn't judge people with morals that didn't apply to them at their time, but, like, it's hard not to, so I don't blame people if you do, and even then, like, there are some things that, like, I can't think of a good example, but the golden rule, you know, treat other people cool. I think that's universal, regardless of the time period. Anyway, let's get back on with it. It doesn't bother me. You don't have to pretend. Here's an idea. How do you like to have some of that tea now? We also have some orange marmalade, which you like so much. Add a scoop of that in a tray of cookies and we have a perfect tea time. You're singing the siren song, madam. Or you really should be doing that with him. He would not have tea. Suspect he does not like it. I don't want it to go to waste, so... Madam, I know it's none of my business, and I have no place at all saying this, but it's not impossible for a woman to file a divorce these days. You don't have to sit down and take it, not one bit. This is 1863, I think? Hold on, 67? 1869, okay. I'm not really familiar with the women's movement. But, yeah, I imagine by those times, you know, it was, except, like, possible, I guess I should say. You're pretty well educated and still young. There's hope, even if you do leave him. There are plenty of men out there. You aren't obligated to stick with that arrogant jerk. He's just very busy right now. There you go again. There's a time when you're kind. He wasn't like this when we first met. Back then, he was a little awkward, but a kind man. Him? A kind man? Yes, believe it or not. There's indeed a time. Say, Maria, would you mind giving me a little bit more of your time? I'll make some tea and we can talk. Alright. For telling me about Jacopo, when Jacopo is decent, I'm all ears. Indeed. I think that's a good place to call it. Yep, scene just changed. So I'll call it there. I'll see you guys next time with some more of the house in Fata Morgana. The start isn't as strong as door 2, but I'm still feeling it. The atmosphere is great. Like, it's really set, you know, that kind of tone. I don't know quite what to call it, but let's just say it's Rose Gun Days-esque. Because, yeah, I just don't know what to call it. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time with some more of the house in Fata Morgana when we continue with door 3, and the white-haired girl will tell us about Jacopo's past, presumably, and how they met. And I'll see you guys then. Bye.